Hi, well, it's Susie again from Esoteric Trading Solutions. Thought I'd just look at the technicals at the moment because they look pretty interesting. I've seen a couple of, different technical views out there, and I just thought I'd have a quick look after this rally that we've seen. Bitcoin US is pretty much at, looks like it's at 8048, something like that, 8070. And it's really, for this to be bullish, it's got to break through this 8386. Basically got no real resistance on my technicals for the daily. If you look at the Ichimoku, there's no big cloud or anything like this. We do have a parabolic buy here. So this has got to break this level of around 8400 for me to be really happy with this. I wouldn't like to see it fall back, even though we've got the red here. For this to continue. So it's got to break this pivot level here of 8386, so to speak, and to break through this small little cloud here, 8874, through to 10,000 and up and away. So we do have the parabolic buy here. The moving average is green, and this is flatlining on the histogram. If we look at the quarterly on this one, sorry, the 4 hourly I should say, we have got a situation where we've got a parabolic sell up here. It's got to hold 8026. So currently I think Bitcoin's trading at 8070. So I wouldn't like to see it fall below that, 8026. If it falls below there, we could be looking at the next juncture around 7522. So it needs to really hold for me, 8020. If I was going to sell this right here, right now, for pull back down, I would be selling at 8070, somewhere around there. I'd have a fairly tight stop loss around, say, 8,100. I don't need to have a big position, and I could have a fairly tight stop loss for a further move down to, say, 7820. So it looks like you could have a fairly tight stop loss to sell at 8070 and a stop loss at 8100 for a move potentially down to 7800, something like that on the 4 hourly. On the daily, if I was going to trade the daily, hoping for this to break through resistance, again, if I was going to have a buy, my buy, I would be literally buying off 8070, and again, I could have a tight stop loss at 8050, hoping for a push higher. So either way, I could, have a fairly tight stop loss. It's not going to cause me too much risk on the downside or the upside, but really, I would like to see a break at that level that I mentioned on the 4 hourly. Otherwise, this market's going to trade down again. So, let's just have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum US. I do like to, as I've said before, look at the dailies. It just takes out the noise, and then I look at the quarterlies, the 4 hourlies, the 4 hours, for a closer look at the market. And these are the two time frames that I do trade. And again, we've got Ethereum on the same story. Moving average is starting to move up positive. We've got a blue on the accumulation index, a green on the histogram. But again, we've got resistance here at 541. Ethereum's at 509 at the moment. But parabolic buy here, would like to see that push through. Resistance of 541. If we're going to buy, we'd be buying off 509, 508. We could even have a fairly tight stop loss at 500, hopefully for a move through this resistance. If we look at the 4 hourly, and if we're going to trade the 4 hourly, again, sort of buy on Ethereum, but it has broken this level here of 510, which I don't like. So we could be selling this if we wanted to do a short-term sell at 508 with a very tight stop loss of 517, and hopefully we might get a move down to 490. It just depends on which time frame you want to trade on that. I wouldn't like to see that break, because if it does break on Ethereum on the 4 hourly, it could move down here, somewhere down here, and look to be quite negative again. So let's have a look at Litecoin. At the moment, because generally I've got two different views on the 4 hourly and I've got a different view on the daily, I'll stay out of this market at this stage. For me, I won't trade this market until I've got a definitive view. On the daily, for example, we've got a buy on Litecoin, have got a red price action here. Everything's starting to move up, but I would like to see it's still slightly above that downward trend. I would like to see it back above 147, and it doesn't look like it's doing much. There's not a lot of volume either. On my 4 hourly, again, I've got divergence with every other market. I've got a slight buy here, but it does look a bit heavy, and I'd like to see it hold support of 126.21. Looks like Litecoin's at 127 at the moment, so that doesn't look as bad as Ethereum, for example. If I have a look at Ripple, and I'll look at the daily first. So I always look at the daily to get the bigger trend. Ripple, like the other market, the other cryptocurrency pairs, has got a buy here of 450. A parabolic buy here. Needs to break this resistance level of, what is it? We're looking at about 68.80, 0.6880. Has to break through a cloud resistance level here of about 83, 84, 88. Has got a parabolic buy. These are green, but if we look at the 4-hourly on this, we do have divergence as well. So when you, as I said before, when you have divergence between your daily and your 4-hour, you tend to stay out of the market. On the 4-hourly, we do have a parabolic sell here, but we've got a parabolic buy here. The 4-hourly support on Ripple is 0.6453, and you'd like to see that hold. Accumulation in the histograms are all starting to move down and negative, and this is moving down as well. So this basically, you can see that it's been sold around the 69 level on Ripple. Looks like it can move down to 64. I would like to see it hold, but clearly if it doesn't, it could retrace down to 61 or even potentially 58. As I said, we do have divergence between the daily and the 4-hourly. If you had a position, I'd probably cut that position because, you've got divergence between the daily and the 4-hourly on that. Let's quickly have a look at Dash. I think all these are going to look pretty much the same, where we've got pretty much the same sort of story. Parabolic buy on the daily, but we've got a red indicated price action. We've got overhead resistance with the Ichimoku, and the pivots showing overhead resistance on Dash 412 and 520, plus around 588. Dash is at 364. So again, if you're going to trade off the dailies, you would be buying here at 364, but with a fairly tight stop loss. You don't need a wide one, maybe 358, something like that. But it does have a long way, a lot to push through. It needs a catalyst basically to push it through, new information. If we check out the 4-hourly, and again, some people trade the 4-hourly only, some people trade daily only. It depends on how you trade. Some people trade different time frames, whether it be an hour, whether it be 30 minutes, that sort of thing. So it really depends on how you trade and what time frames you actually trade. Dash on the 4-hourly, it doesn't look too bad actually. We've got sort of this rounded story here, and we've sort of parabolic buy here. So it sort of doesn't look too bad. It could potentially trade to 377. But again, it depends on how you trade. For me, if I didn't have a position on at the moment, I wouldn't take on a new position because I've got a divergence between my 4-hour and my daily. I like it when they both line up generally as a rule. If I was long a position, I'd probably be more inclined to cut it, to be neutral. And if I was short, it just looks to me like on the 4-hourly, it does look short term. It can come back a bit, meaning down a little bit. I'd probably keep the short, but have a fairly tight stop loss on that short. So, for example, if I was short Dash at 364, I'd have a stop loss around probably 372, something like that. So I wouldn't lose very much money, and it would be a very light position, a very small position as well. The 4-hourly looks like it can sort of come down a little bit here, but again, that's sort of how I would do it. Let me just quickly have a look at, I've got a couple of investment positions that I'm very interested in that I just want to have a quick look at. Tron, these are investments, but I do like to look at them just from a short-term perspective as well. Oops, TRX, sorry about that. Tron on the daily has got a parabolic sell here. This looks quite positive though, this here. This is starting to move up, this is starting to move up. So we do have divergence here, which is quite interesting. I haven't seen this before where you've got a parabolic sell, but you've got the price action. that looks quite interesting. It looks like it can blow out to me, actually, up to the upside on this, at 0.0525. Let's just check out the 4 hourly on this. I am a holder of Tron, and I'm probably quite happy to hold Tron for the longer term. 0.0406, this looks like we can get back down to, but I'm a happy holder of Tron. Just another one I want to look at is Verge. That's had some interesting press lately with it, got $18 million from its investors, and it's about to announce a partnership, but I don't think it's actually announced the partnership yet, which is quite interesting. So let's just have a quick look at Verge. Got a parabolic buy here. Needs to obviously pass through resistance at 0.0899, currently at 0.0819. Again, green, which is a good story on the daily. Let's just check out the 4 hourly on this. These two that I've just done, I will be holding these as longer term investments. Again, this one needs to break 0.085. We do have a parabolic sell here, and this is all heading down. So you could see some weakness there, but again, as I said, I'm actually a long-term holder of that. Just having another look at a spread. I've actually got a Ripple Ethereum spread on, and I do believe Ripple will outperform Ethereum going forward. Let me just have a quick look. There's been a lot of really good stuff again, Ripple, and they're putting on more and more new clients. They've just made a 25 investment in another blockchain that's going to use their cryptocurrency. As you know, they've put on MoneyGram, American Express. There's some talk Amazon. There's some talk about also what's that coffee chain, a big coffee chain, Starbucks. There's all sorts of things. So this one here, it's got a parabolic buy here. It does look like to me it can break out from here. It's been doing a lot of consolidation around this level for some time on the daily, and I do think it can outperform Ethereum going forward. So I'm very happy to keep a hold of that one. And let's have a look. Got a parabolic sell here. Support here is 0.001276. All flat lying, quite negative here, but again, I'm a happy holder on that one at this stage. I think that's all I'll look at the moment. So at the moment, it's probably in no man's land. It does look like it can push down. Generally on the 4 hourly, it looks like it can go down lower. So if I was going to be short, which I'm not at the moment, I'd probably have a very, very tight loss on to be short. This is my own trading position. Please, you've got to do your own research and your own analysis. I'm not advising anyone to get short or long. This is just how I trade for the short term. And as I said, some of these cryptocurrencies I actually hold for the long term. Anyway, I hope that helps from an education point of view. And thank you. And look after yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your family, your friends, your loved ones, and your pets. And try and make it a kinder world. Thank you for listening. And I hope I've helped you in some way. Thank you.